All right, let's dive in. Today, we're digging into a really important report from the European Commission that basically flips the script on how we should be thinking about cybersecurity. The big idea here is that we've gone way beyond just needing firewalls and antivirus software. The real challenge now is building what they call a digital anchor for our entire society.
And this quote right here says it all. This is the heart of the whole thing. The argument is that our entire perspective has got to change. Cybersecurity isn't just some tech problem for the IT department anymore. It's become a fundamental need for our modern world to even function, just as essential as, say, our power grid or the roads we drive on.
And if you're wondering why this is so urgent, well, just look at this number, 5.5 trillion euros. That's the estimated cost of cybercrime every single year. The report calls it the largest transfer of wealth in history. Get this, it's more profitable than the entire global trade of all major illegal drugs combined. So no, this isn't just a small problem. It's a massive economic anchor dragging down innovation and investment.
So the big question is, how on earth did we get here? How did this problem get so gigantic? Well, the answer really lies in the explosive growth of our digital world. We've built this incredible new landscape, but, we didn't always build it with defense in mind.
This timeline really tells a story, doesn't it? It's like watching an arms race unfold in real time. Back in the 80s, hitting 10% of the tiny ARPANET was a huge deal. But then you fast forward to the 2000s, and the I Love You worm hits over 50 million machines in just 10 days. And in the last decade, global attacks like WannaCry were literally paralyzing hospitals and huge corporations. The scale, the speed, the complexity, it's all grown right along with our technology.
So this leads to a really crucial concept that security experts talk about all the time, the attack surface, and ours is just exploding. Think about it. Every new smartphone, every smart thermostat, every connected car, it's all another potential door, another window for an attacker to try and get through.
And to put a number on that explosion, back in 2018, there were already 17 billion devices online, and that number is way bigger now. 7 billion of those were so-called Internet of Things devices. Your smartwatch, your doorbell camera, your smart speaker. Every single one is another tiny foothold in our digital lives that has to be defended.
Okay, so we've got all these digital doors and windows. Who's actually trying to break them down? Well, if you're picturing a lone hacker in a dark room, you're going to need to update that image. Today's battlefield has a whole new cast of characters, and they are incredibly sophisticated.
And this table breaks it down perfectly. You've got organized cybercriminals who are in it purely for the money. Then there are state-sponsored groups playing these high-stakes geopolitical games. You've got hacktivists who are driven by a cause or an ideology. And you can't forget about insiders, people inside an organization motivated by revenge or maybe a payday. It's a whole complex ecosystem of adversaries.
And here's where it gets even more complicated. The lines between all these different groups are getting super blurry. The biggest criminal gangs now have tools and skills that, just a decade ago, were pretty much only available to national governments. They're playing in the big leagues now.
This has led to something that is an absolute game changer, crime as a service, or CAAS. Yeah, you heard that right. It's kind of like Amazon, but for illegal hacking. You can go on the dark web and literally hire hackers, buy ransomware kits, or rent out a botnet to attack a target. It has totally democratized high-level cybercrime.
Okay, so we have a massive attack surface and a whole range of sophisticated adversaries. That's a pretty scary picture. So what in the world do we do about it? How do we even begin to defend ourselves? This is where the report's central idea comes in. We have to forge a digital anchor.
The first thing we have to realize is that the old way of doing things just isn't cutting it. That reactive approach, where we basically wait for something to break and then scramble to fix it, is completely unsustainable. The threats are too big, and we just can't afford to be constantly on the back foot anymore.
This slide nails the shift in thinking that's required. We have to move from being reactive to being proactive. So instead of just fixing stuff after an attack, we need security by design, building security in right from the start. It's not a technical option, it's a societal need. And maybe the biggest shift of all is moving from trying to prevent every single attack, which is impossible, to building resilience so that when we do get hit, we can take the punch and get back up quickly.
So how do we make this happen? Well, the report lays out 6 key areas for action.
And this isn't just a technical checklist for IT folks, it's a blueprint for all of society. It's about grounding security in ethics. It's about education for everyone, for life. It's about the industry taking responsibility. We need better research, real collaboration between governments and companies, and we need to make sure our laws and policies have security baked right in. That's the only way we build that anchor.
Which brings us to this final, really critical question. For decades, we built this incredible, amazing, interconnected world, but we built it for connection, for speed, for convenience. Defense was always sort of an afterthought, something you bolted on later. And now we're facing the consequences of that choice. So the real question for all of us is, are we actually ready to do the hard work it's going to take to build the anchor this world so desperately needs?